We got the story from The Independent. I think it's important to talk about. YouTuber Ethan Klein calls Joe Rogan a piece of ish for vaccine misinformation. Rogan's fan hit back after Klein calls out how podcasters' logic makes no sense.
I appreciate you bringing back ish, by the way.
Well, Luke did actually.
Luke did.
Yeah,
it's one of my favorite words.
Right.
I can't say much here.
It deserves.
My vocabulary has been cut, and like 25% of it has been cut.
So Ethan Klein, a host of H3
Luke's still working on his
podcast,
English.
I am.
hit out at podcaster Joe Rogan, saying Joe Rogan, who lives on elk meat, egg yolk, and human growth hormone with lungs full of tar, thinks he's healthier than everyone. This MFer is such a B that when he got COVID, he threw the kitchen sink at it. If you're so healthy, just write it out like you say a man should. Dude has caused so much vaccine hesitancy and misinformation, and he doesn't even have the balls to stand by the ish he preaches. Now he's on his show talking about how fat people should just die of COVID. Dude is such an effing piece of S. I have a legitimate question. That's not a dig. Is Ethan Klein saying this because he's an unhealthy, overweight individual?
Probably.
Yes.
Sounds like
and
it.
so like it was like when Joe Rogan was talking about being overweight and unhealthy was bad for you.
No,
I think people people take it personally.
So if you understand sociosexual hierarchy, right? This is typical gamma male rage against an alpha male, right? This is the basic idea of, someone who's kind of at the bottom of the food chain in terms of preference, lashing out at someone who is higher up on the food chain from them. And it's very simple. You see this a lot with YouTubers, but not just YouTubers in general. That's just, they're more ubiquitous these days. You see it everywhere. You see it in real life. You see it in, office hierarchy. You see it in high schools, colleges, etc.
Political leadership. That's when it's scary.
To an extent. Well, political leadership is a little bit different though, because political leadership is not conducted because of someone's health and prowess and accomplishment, right? There's all these like Byzantine rules and ways. I mean, look at we've got like the Peter Principle presidency right now. Joe Biden was not picked because he's our most competent leader, right? That's not exactly how he got there. So for Ethan Klein to lash out, it's totally in line if you understand sociosexual hierarchy. That being said, my question is, he says lungs full of tar. Is Joe Rogan a smoker?
He smokes weed, right?
Yeah,
he smokes weed.
He doesn't smoke cigarettes.
But
Joe's a
cigarettes.
health nut.
Does he?
I don't think so.
Cigars. Puffs on cigars.
Oh, that's right. That's
Cigars?
right. I'm pretty sure he does smoke cigars.
But does he inhale?
I don't know.
You don't
Then how would
really.
his lungs
You're not
be-
supposed to inhale.
Yeah, obviously.
cigars.
So how would your lungs be filled with tar then?
I don't know.
But we should also point out that this is some of the stupidest advice given out by Ethan Klein that absolutely makes no sense. You're telling Joe Rogan not to take medicine that a doctor is telling him to take?
This is the paradox of what he said. Ethan Klein is not a medical doctor. No one here is a medical doctor. No, we all have our opinions.
Luke,
but
is
Ethan,
Bill Gates a medical doctor?
Hell
no, he's
but,
not.
But Ethan Klein, to be like, Joe Rogan shouldn't give medical advice. You should not listen to him. You should listen to them. It's like, bro, you shouldn't be giving medical advice either.
Yeah, he should be hit by YouTube in terms of services.
Well, it's Twitter. It's not YouTube.
Look up what the medical background of the CEO of Pfizer is.
What is it?
Just
tell us.
veterinarian.
Boom.
Oh, he's a veterinarian.
He's a veterinarian.
Oh,
Well,
and a salesman. A very good one.
Interesting.
Joe is he's a healthy guy.
Yeah, he is.
That's just, I
He
mean,
looked
he is
great.
fit.
54.
I saw an Instagram video of him doing a front kick a couple days ago. He looks like he is 42 years old.
Yeah,
he looks great.
He exercises all the time. Now, you can certainly talk about your opinions on diet and whether or not eating so much red meat or whatever is good or bad. But for Ethan Klein,
it's good, by the way.
Paradoxically, it's actually a bit ironic, I suppose, of him to be like, Joe Rogan's an idiot for saying these things when he's quite literally a podcaster saying the exact same things in the other direction. It's the same problem. Like, you should not be. Though a lot of people have pointed out the goal of what he said was to generate press, and it worked. Here we are talking about him.
Yep.
Obviously,
the media's writing about him. Congratulations.
Explain to me what's wrong exactly with elk meat, egg yolks, and HGH.
Okay, I don't know.
Oh, I don't know.
I'm like that.
I can tell you,
how is he
elk
using
meat-
that as an insult?
He like wrapped
He's saying
two
it's not
two
healthy.
nascent ones in with like a more controversial one, and it's supposedly like
No, I mean
HGH is somewhere like elk meat. Like, come on.
again, it's like, bro, you're on the side of GMOs. You're on this, like, you would be on the side of the Sackler family early on in the OxyContin debate when it comes to this.
crazy.
How dare you
I
be
gotta
against
be
the Sacklers?
I don't think he tweeted for attention. I think it's like people tweet because people tweet.
Oh, it's gamma male rage, dude.
No,
100%.
Well, sure.
He was
But what I'm saying
not
is
thinking about any of that stuff.
He's an unhealthy guy who clearly does not eat right or exercise. Joe said that's a huge comorbidity, and Ethan got upset about it and said, who are you to criticize me when, you won't take the vaccine or whatever?
Explain to me the pathology, right? And I've still been trying to actually find this one. And if anyone's in the chat who has this, because I always try to examine the various, like there's, Dr. Mullen talked about mass formation psychoses, but there's also like narrow formation psychoses. There's all these different little bands of pathologies around in our society today, in this post-industrial society that we have. And so the interesting one that I found is like, show me a guy who looks like Ethan Klein, who's like triple vaxxed, gigavaxxer, who's eaten Uber Eats and DoorDash all the time, and yet will scream their head off about you being unvaxxed as a threat to their health. What is the pathology there of someone who clearly has not taken one step to change their personal behavior, but will demand that you change yours?
The CDC has said around 30% of COVID hospitalizations are in the obese.
Yes.
CNN just came out with a report. Yeah. This is what Rogan was commenting on, that obesity is a huge contributing factor to hospitalizations and even death. I don't understand why Ethan should be mad about that. He's saying now he's on a show talking about how fat people should just die of COVID. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Joe Rogan didn't say that.
If Joe Rogan said that, that clip would be everywhere.
Right. Joe probably was like, you got to get healthy, man. Start eating better.
Hey, if we want to talk about national exercise, mandatory exercise, 10 minutes a day,
morning calisthenics.
Mandatory calisthenics. All right, let's go. I
see Luke smiling.
Let's do it.
I wouldn't do it just because the government made me do it. Even though I'm exercising right now, that's what I'm thinking about.
Luke is like, Poland does not comply.
Never.
I think that Ethan wants in on the conversation. I feel like he missed the boat into the intellectual dark web because he's a smart enough guy, but his joking kind of idiocy persona thing is keeping him out of the club, and he's angry about it. Like, dude, you got to be serious. I don't even know if the IDW is like the IDW is a thing for people to like attack, but it hasn't actually been a thing for years. Yeah, just the idea of like a group of really intelligent podcasting people that are communicating and have kind of a community. Ethan I think he wants in on that.
However, speaking of which, I believe both Weinstein brothers signed up for Getter.
Oh, did they?
I believe, yeah, both.
I mean, the big story would be Daily Mail. When services start signing up, it's no longer just people high-fiving each other. You can actually use the service to get your news.
Because they've realized though that from a corporate perspective that, hey, we can make money off of this.
All right.
And that's as simple as that.
And I think
once you've crossed that bridge, now you're legit.
We got to get our crew to set up that account. So we'll hit up the guys. We're actually we normally don't announce guests in advance, so I won't give any specific dates, but we're going to have the Getter guys on the show.
Nice.
Or Getter guy. Yeah, we don't have a specific date.
Yeah, Luke,
to talk about all this.
Keep your questions ready for those guys, man.
And in the meantime,
grill them.
Getter guy. Start working on advertising.
Yeah, I don't work for those guys or anything. I like it. I get a lot of traffic there.
Yeah,
but
with your experience with mine,
definitely. Just nail them.
If you can start ringing in an advertising program and get these people paid, man, this thing's going to take off. But I want you to open source your code, and then we'll federate it.
That's the big move. Is I think if we start putting all the articles we write at timcast.com on Getter, then that's going to be huge for us. We're going to see way more traction because people are going to be using it. But it gives you a reason to be on Getter,
and then you can track. You can compare and contrast.
I think engagement will be massive.
I think
I'm telling you, I've seen it. When I post to Twitter, etc., my various platforms, Getter is huge.
But if they're able to do that, but also implement transparency and accountability for a lot of their decisions, that would put them over the top because people will now know that there is some kind of accountability, some kind of responsibility on the individuals, and you will clearly know what you can and cannot say. Big tech now kind of works in this mysterious way where they let other people like Ethan Klein give medical advice and other people like congressmen and medical doctors and key innovators of the mRNA vaccine technology be censored on that platform for what?
I think this is wrong somewhat. Zap.
Dr. Malone.
That's cool, though. You should say that to them.
PhD scientist Robert Malone banned from Twitter. Ethan Klein, dude on YouTube, not. No. And I'll even go this far to say Tim Pool, dude on YouTube, not. Yeah. I post so much random crackpot insanity on Twitter, and I'm like, I don't even know how I still have an account, but they banned scientists and sitting members of Congress.
That's insane.
The system is broken.
And again, what Ethan Klein is criticizing here is a cocktail that, according to Aaron Rodgers, who also came out and said that he reads Ayn Rand today, by the way, just another shout out here. But most importantly, what I wanted to mention here, that cocktail,
we can find some better literature.
Jack, don't get me started here. Most importantly, what Aaron
'cause you don't wanna
Rodgers
lose.
also said is that NFL teams are secretly using the Joe Rogan kitchen sink cocktail. So this is something that Ethan Klein is criticizing that, of course, has helped a lot of people. It helped Dana White. It helped Aaron Rodgers. It helps a lot of professional football players, according to Aaron Rodgers, within the NFL. So why are you criticizing this? How is this your attack point here?
I don't care about Aaron Rodgers' opinion. I guess you get the jersey behind him. I don't care about the NFL's opinion. I care about the fact that they were prescribed something from a doctor. So when the memes go out and they say like, "Oh, my doctor doesn't know anything about this," my response is always, "Dude, if you hired a carpenter who couldn't tell you what a tool was or what kind of wood you were using, you wouldn't hire that person." It's crazy to me that the position of, you mentioned this earlier, Ethan Klein is Rogan should not have listened to his doctor. That's insane. No, you should listen to a trusted medical professional. You get second opinion. But what is the response? Joe should have been like, Ethan Klein is right. Doc, I'm not going to listen to you. I'm going to listen to Ethan Klein.
Imagine Joe Rogan walking up to anybody walking up to their doctor with Ethan Klein's tweet printed out and saying, "I'm sorry, sir, but Ethan Klein, this paragon of health virtue, has told me
and
that you're
Don Lemon."
And Don Lemon, right? I actually, did I ever tell you the story when I met Don Lemon?
No.
Gosh.
Yeah, so when I was still at One American News, we bought a table at the White House Correspondents Association. Believe it was 2018. Yeah, it was right after I started. So I'm there. This was the one where they made fun of Sarah Sanders for her eyeshadow. Do you remember that? And that became a whole thing. And she was like on stage. They had this like horrible comedian. So in between, Kathy Griffin was there. I was sitting next to the table right next to me, by the way, was David Hogg. Funny enough. So our chairs were like almost like directly next to each other. It was funny. Nice. And he was kind of quiet. And so in between the different, speeches, everybody would run to the bathroom. And so, all the dudes, and you're all in tuxedos and you're waiting in line. It's a men's room, but like everybody's like kind of like a, like you recognize everybody in line, even if you don't know them, kind of situation. And then all of a sudden, Don Lemon just walks up and he goes, excuse me, I'm Don Lemon. And just pushes his way, dead serious, ahead of everybody who's in line, every correspondent, excuse me, I'm DonLemon, excuse me. Actually saying that, excuse me, I'm Don, and then just walks right in front of the whole line.
He should have been like,
excuse me.
And he wasn't part of the show
you should have
or
turned
anything.
and took his hand and said, "Oh, I'm Jack. Nice to meet you."
I'm Jack Posobiec. Great to meet you, man.
Yeah.
Give him a hog, like
a little
too
watch
tight.
your show.
So what are you doing?
Watch your show. Yeah.
And then when he tries to be like,
and it was like
you're introducing yourself
It was
to
like, and I mean, just head, not even making eye contact with anybody. Just like, I'm ahead, and you all
and
know
people
I'm
let him cut.
every single.
Let's make a
person in that
pact
line.
that none of us
I
ever
would have
become
never
like that,
let
you
that
guys.
It wasn't like he was like a host or part of the show or anything like that.
I say this all the time to people. If you are in line anywhere and cut people, they will do nothing. People do not want confrontation. You can. It's always been the craziest thing to me that people wait in lines.
I'm kind of the guy that'll say something because you're disconcerting all these people
In-
behind
I
me
say
too.
something.
I say something.
In the United States.
Yeah.
When I was in Russia, there was no line.
Although I did
Well,
see
in
someone
Russia, the
cut.
line is your elbow.
Right.
So in China, the line
in
is
China,
your
it's
elbow.
a mad dash, and it's like a
In-
Royal
and
Rumble when you're
when
trying
I-
to get in.
Those little old ladies, when you're trying to get on the subway, if like I'm telling you, they've got low center of gravity, and I'm telling you, they would come right up to me.
They're thick.
and they would take.
They
their
get in there.
Yeah, they
When
would
I
take their bags and just bam.
I was
I'm dead serious.
That's
I was
their
at
culture.
the airport in Moscow when I was traveling. I was going from UK to Moscow to Ukraine. And in the West, when they were like, now boarding group one walks over and they get in, now boarding group two, and then
Yeah.
group two gets up. In Russia, they were like, now boarding group one, and every single person rushed full speed. It was a massive people shoulder to shoulder pushing each other out of the way. And
Yep.
I was like, all right, here we go. And then I'm used to being in these big
and
crowds.
if you don't
shoved
do
my
that,
way
by the
through.
way, you're not getting on the plane.
That's right. Or you're getting on last. You're not getting
or
overhead
you
space.
you might get on last.
You won't get overhead space. And so I was like, all right, if this is the game we're playing, and I just shoved through everybody and then boarded like right away. I was like, okay.
Yeah, people don't understand that the whole concept of like waiting in line and waiting your turn, that is totally a Western thing, and it's a very American thing. Outside of the country, do not exist.
Thanks for checking out this segment from the Timcast IRL podcast. If you want to watch live, you can check out this channel Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. And don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to this channel, and if you want more unfiltered and uncensored content with all of these guests, go to timcast.com and become a member. All of these guests you know and love in exclusive segments on our website where we are unrestricted in what we talk about, so you'll definitely not want to miss it. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you all next time.